Ano ba yung research? Paano ba ginagawa yung research? Ako, matalino kong tao pero hindi ko alam yung research. Charis lang. First time nyo bang gumawa ng research and hindi nyo pa alam kung ano yung mga dapat gawin or you don't know how it works? Don't worry because that is what we're going to discuss in this video. Ang research ay bahagi na ng curriculum o education system ng Pilipinas. It exists in both basic and higher education institutions. Meron lagi niyan sa grade 10 sa English subject at sa iba't ibang subject sa iba't ibang strand sa senior high, sa grades 11 and 12 at syempre, babalikan ka ulit ng research pagdating sa college. Mahirap siyang takasan kasi para siyang si Thanos na inevitable. Lagi siyang lumilitaw bilang big boss na kailangan mong matapos bago ka makagraduate or makamove up sa isang year level. Since di naman na siya may iwasan, kailangan na lang natin siyang pakisamahan at matutunan. With that, mahalagang malaman natin kung paano ba yung proseso ng paggawa ng research para pag time nyo na, may idea na kayo sa bawat steps. Steps? Yes, di ba nga research is systematic? That means the researcher needs to carry out a series of interrelated steps in conducting the study. Such procedure must follow a well-planned, sequential, and organized structure from beginning to end. That's according to Cristobal and Cristobal 2017. Kaya naman may iba't ibang steps sa paggawa ng research ayon kay Rao 2017. Step 1. Define the research problem. To begin with your research, you must look at a significant real-life problem. Yes po, research problem muna ang unang kailangan ma-determine. Basically, yung research problem kasi equal siya sa research topic and the research question. That means yung problem na makikita mo at gusto mong isolve or mabigyan ng kasagutan ay yun na rin mismo yung topic. Una naman talaga nating ginagawa yung mag-isip ng topic, 'di ba? But what we forgot all the time is that it has to be a research problem as well dahil isa sa purpose ng research ay mag-solve ng problem. The thing is, paano? It has to be smart. You know, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Sobrang daming pwedeng pagpilian lalo na kung walang restrictions sa sinabi ang teacher nyo or sabi niya anything under the sun which means kahit ano pwede. Well, mas maganda rin talaga kung may certain area lang na binigay sa inyo yung prof or teacher nyo. Pero kung wala man, you can consider factors like your area of interest. Usually, yun naman yung una. Pipili kayo ng topic nyo na interesado kayo or malapit sa puso nyo. After all, you need to learn to know your research by heart in the process for you to be able to defend it properly. The next option is yung availability ng funds. This greatly applies kung college kayo at talagang alam nyo na mapapagastos kayo because you need to provide an output. If that's the case, pag-isipan nyo munang maigi kung measurable at realistic ba sa kaya nyong gastusin yung napili nyong topic. You can also consider the socio-economic significance. Ano ba yung importance nito? May kinalaman ba ito sa ekonomiya? May ambag ba ito sa kasalukuyang ganap ng society? Lastly, if you will be experimenting on something, make sure to consider as well the safety measures. After all, research must be ethical and with that, we consider the safety of everyone. Step 2. Review the literature. RRL agad? Yes, basically, na-explain ko na ito sa previous video. I'll just put the link in the description at dito sa info card. Anyway, you'll have to read various publications or surf the internet to become aware of the previous works already done about the chosen topic. Isa ito sa mga realizations ko nung college na ako na mahalaga pala na umpisa pa lang ay naghahanap ka na ng RRL at RRS. Bakit kailangang i-review ang literature? Basically, para sa background knowledge. Parang sa relationship lang yan, you need to get to know each other. Dahil may napili ka na na problem or topic, pwede ka na mag-research about dito para alam mo kung ano na ba yung current situation or ganap sa study mo. Ano na ba yung kasalukuyang lagay nito? Ano na yung studies na nagawa for this? Ano ba yung facts na need mong malaman? Relevant pa ba yung study? Ano yung research gaps o yung areas nito na need pang tugunan so that yun yung magagawan mo ng topic? In that case, makakagawa ka ng mas maayos sa chapter 1 or introduction, aka the background of the study. Since may background info ka na at dahil may alam ka na rin sa existing studies and literature, mas makakapag-cite ka ng maayos na sources sa intro at mas makaka-develop ka ng mas maayos at well-founded na rationale o reason to conduct the study kasi may alam ka na sa topic at kung ano yung possible na research gaps. After all, research muna ang kailangan bago ka tuluyang mag-research. At with all the info that you gather, you will have enough idea kung ano na yung gagawin mo sa mga susunod na parts ng research, even yung design. Kasi sa pagbabasa mo pa lang ng mga existing at naunang lit at study, makikita mo na kung ano yung mga approach, methodology at design na ginamit ng previous researchers. Pero bago yan, dako muna tayo sa step 3. Step 3, formulate hypothesis. A hypothesis is a theoretical statement involving a logical relationship between variables. It should be based on the problem being solved. Basically, ang hypothesis ay isang educated guess. Dahil may background knowledge ka na at problem, you can now formulate a hypothesis. Siyempre, based siya sa title since we are talking about the relationship of the variables. Ito yung mga significant improvement, difference, correlation between the dependent and independent variables. Hindi laging kailangan ng hypothesis kasi nakadepende yon sa design ng study mo. Kung quanti, may hypothesis pero kadalasan pag quali yung design, walang hypothesis. Kasi this is something na minimeasure after the findings ng study. Is it to be accepted or null? Step 4, prepare the research design. This is where you will identify what is the best means to collect and analyze data in the study to clarify and improve the research problem, purpose, and questions. Pero ano ba muna yung research design? Hindi ito yung ginagawa sa PowerPoint at Canva ha. Basically, nasa chapter 3 or methodology ka na kapag ito na yung pinag-uusapan, and another basic knowledge na alam natin sa research design is dito mo natutukuyin kung qualitative ba ang study mo o quantitative. Alin sa dalawang yan ang gagamitin mo. But research design is actually more than that. Research design also covers the theoretical and conceptual frameworks, type of research design, population and sampling techniques, data collection methods, at data analysis strategies. To further understand that, let's take a look at the research design process according to Question Pro. Number 1, consider your aims and approaches. Aside sa pagdetermine ng research question sa SOP at objective sa rational, dito na rin papasok yung pag-identify ng theoretical framework and methodology for the study. Kaya ako nabanggit na kasama rin sa design yung CF at TF, confirmed din yan sa Google Gemini as presented sa picture. After that, you need to choose a type of research design. Well, sometimes given naman na yung research design kung quali or quanti like sa school kung saan ako nag-practice teaching. Sa grade 11 nila, qualitative ang design nila while sa grade 12 naman, quantitative na. But still, may mas specific types pa yung dalawang designs at the choice will be up to you na. Pili ka ng appropriate design para sa study nyo. Is it experimental, correlational, survey, case study, or ethnographic? Depende yan sa research questions at objectives nyo. Another important part ng design is you need to identify your population and sampling method. Dito mo natutukuyin ang target population. Sino ba ang magsasagot niyan? Students ba? Anong strand? STEM, DVL, UMS, ano-anong section? Ilan ang sample size? Kapag quanti, mas marami yan, nasa 40 pataas. Pag naman quali, kahit mga less than 10 lang. With that, pipili ka na ng sampling method. Depende rin yan kung quali or quanti yung design. Kapag quanti, you will go with probability sampling methods such as random, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, and etc. So kapag quali naman, you will go with non-probability sampling such as purposive and convenient sampling. Marami pang iba niyan, maybe we'll discuss that in another video. Number 4, choose your data collection methods. Dito ka napipili ng data collection methods na nakadepende rin kung quali or quanti ang design. Basically, pag sinabing data collection methods, ito rin yung research instruments na ginagamit sa data gathering such as surveys, interviews, observations, or experiments. Number 5, plan your data collection procedures. With that, you also prepare the procedures including the time frame, location, and the personnel involved. And of course, as you do that, you need to ensure ethical considerations. Lastly, you need to decide on your data analysis strategies. Pipili ka na rin sa part na to kung anong data analysis techniques ang gagamitin mo, such as statistical analysis pag quanti or content analysis or discourse analysis pag quali. Step 5, collect data. Use an appropriate data collection method to elicit the needed information. Nabanggit na halos ito sa step 4 pero basically ito na yung part na mag-gather kayo ng data. Pupunta na kayo sa rooms para magpa-survey or pumili ng mga interviewin and all. Basta ito na yung part na makikipag-interact na kayo sa participants or respondents nyo to gather data. Step 6, analyze data. Utilize strategies and methods that make sense of the data to answer the research problem. Ito na yung medyo madugong part lalo na kung qualitative yung design ng research mo kasi i-analyze nyo na sa part na to yung data na nag-gather nyo using the data analysis technique na pinili nyo. Somehow, mas madali yung quanti sa part na 'to kasi with statistical treatments, mako-compute niyo na yung data and mas mapapadali ito kung meron kayong statistician kasi ipapadaan niya lang yan sa isang app to run statistical analysis and then there you go, may results na. Unlike sa quali na kayo mismo yung magta-transcribe, maghahanap ng pattern and themes and all, it really takes more time. Step 7, the last step, interpret and report the findings. Put the information in perspective and present the solution to the proposed problem based on the findings of the investigation. Basically, ito na yung chapter 4 at 5 kung saan ipepresent mo na yung interpretations and findings ng study nyo through tables and paragraphs. Yung tables para sa quick visualization or summary ng results, while yung paragraph naman para sa explanation ng interpretation. Sa part na to, need pa rin ng supporting studies to prove or support your claim. Then after that, pwede mo na i-present sa chapter 5 ang conclusions and recommendation na no need for supporting studies. Then that wraps up your research paper crafting journey. Well, supposedly yan dahil ang research journey is like never ending. Di pa natin napag-usapan yung mga defense na dadaanan nyo, plus the revisions, publication, hardbound and all. Pero that will all depend rin naman sa institution na pinapasukan nyo. Anyway, those topics can be discussed in another video. So yun lang muna for now. Basically, that's it. Nagets nyo ba? Do you have any question or clarification? Comment nyo lang yan sa comment section because I'd love to hear from you as well. And kung may suggested or request na lesson kayo na nais nyo pang madiscuss sa mga susunod na video, i-comment nyo lang yan para maisali natin sa lineup. If you find this video helpful at kung gusto nyo pa ng research lesson videos like this, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share it with your classmates and friends. Of course, feel free to comment as well, and all of those are greatly appreciated.